I remember telling you that lie. I didn't believe it either.
What
But
lie?
Oh, you lied.
I didn't lie. Alright guys, we are back, episode 4, chapter 2. We are closing this chapter out. And we thought about whose perspective can we get other than our own, who we communicating with at the time. And so we're gonna bring in Jarius' mom today to kind of talk about her experience and what you guys kind of heard about in our previous videos, specifically the last video. So hope you guys are still staying tuned. Thank you guys so much for the love and support that you guys are showing, and we hope that you continue to watch. But as always, make sure you watch this video in its entirety. So without further ado, let's bring in mom.
So as Terrell was just saying, it's always good to just get a different perspective. The last video actually ties in with my mom because during the time that Terrell found out that I had been cheating, he actually called my mom and put her blood pressure up through the roof, if I'm being quite honest. So when you called her, what did you actually say?
Like the title say, come get your son. I was very much so in a state of something's gonna happen to your child, like you need to come get him, this is serious. And looking back on it, like I feel like I would hate to get that call as a parent. Now that I'm a parent, you know, I acted out of anger and rage. It was kind of like my last Hail Mary, like, okay, like I'm about to let your mom know what you're up to, because we had met a few times. And so I felt like, okay, like, you know, I'm gonna let her know, like I'm gonna let her know what you're up to. So I guess I never asked you your perspective of like getting that call and like how you felt in that moment.
Of course, any parent getting a call like that, I was, you know, like, okay, my child is way out there, something is going on, and I was powerless. Of course, it was very hurtful, it was very emotional. All I was thinking about was just getting to you guys and selling you guys down and talking to you and just try to see if what can I do to try to take away some of the pain, take away some of the hurt, take away the stress that y'all was going through.
Now that I don't think that you knew before, but kind of now knowing the details of Jarius and our relationship and how it progressed really fast, and like even from us moving in together. So like I said, I had seen you a few times. So what did you think of me before then as it relates to like that's my child's boyfriend?
Well, I didn't know y'all's situation at the time. You know, Jarius kind of like introduced me as your, you know, like best friends. But I knew as a parent, my thing was I didn't want you to get hurt. My thing is I didn't want you to just be wasting your time.
When you say wasting my time, like what do you mean by that?
Investing into something that you're not going to be serious about.
So you thought maybe it was like a phase that I was going through?
Yeah, or like one boyfriend after another and not being serious on what you was doing. Yeah,
that is true. So I had actually already introduced a boyfriend to her when I was 16, and then again when I was 18. So this was the second or third person that she had been introduced to. So that's why she feels like that. So one thing that I want to know is when you did know that Terrell and I were serious, was there ever any resentment towards me or towards Terrell for being gay, and just the fear of what could happen? Did you resent that was my reality?
The person that you choose to be in your life, I wanted that person to be respectful, and you did. So I couldn't control your choices of whether it's going to be a male or female. What I wanted you to do is make sure you make a right choice, you know.
So I can see that now. Mm-hmm. I think when we were going through it, it was kind of tough because you supported me, but I felt like you were also kind of disappointed in a way that was my reality because of just like society, like views and things like that, and maybe that's not like what you envisioned for me. And I feel like Terrell kind of felt it towards him too, as though it's just like he could understand like the disappointment.
Well, my honest opinion on that was you hear all these stories about guys being with guys and them being, you know, hurt or picked on and bullied, and sometimes end up in situations where their lives are taken. That was my fear. Another fear of mine was not being a grandma. I have a grandmother that I was very dear to. That's the person that I kind of looked up to. And one thing I vision myself is doing is giving that back to my grandkids. So I want to thank you guys for giving me that gift, because they're a joy They're a gift to me. I absolutely love them. That was my main concern.
So looking back on it, I feel like it was like a lot in college too, because I feel like not only did you get that call, I think with like the cheating situation, but then shortly after, a couple months later, like then you got a call that I wrecked his car. So like, what was going through your head then?
I'm a single mom, and every penny counts. That was a financial burden on me, you know, because I kind of like planned it out to the T of what I was going to do as far as my first car, making sure that that was paid for so I can hand that off to you, and making sure that my other car that I get was for me. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to making sure that finances was in order, because as being a single mom, you know, that was important to not let anything deviate from that.
So, if you remember the story, did you ever believe Terrell?
Believe what?
So, Terrell told you it was raining and he ran into someone, but he said someone just stomped on their brakes, and I just remember telling you the story and you were so pissed. You was so mad at Terrell, and
whether it be Terrell or if it been you, I still was going to have the same reaction.
No, I agree with that, because remember I wrecked my car to even get that one. So I feel like I know you were mad at me, but when I called you to tell you that it was Terrell who wrecked my car, and we had just been through that situation of him calling you like, come get your son because like I'm about to call the police and all that stuff, did it like make you feel any type of way towards him?
No, because I had insurance. So
well, I think that's like, I don't know how I would feel as like a parent. I wouldn't feel the best. And I think that for a long time, we felt like you weren't there yet, like with accepting the situation, and we felt like you weren't very fond of Terrell just because of everything that had happened, which would be understandable. That's interesting, because like I remember telling you that lie and I didn't believe it either. Oh, you lied.
I didn't lie.
You said that that lady stomped on her brakes and did not put on her signal light, and it was her fault.
It was.
You came back later and told me that it wasn't.
No, I told
I didn't know this.
Actually, what I told you was that when I pushed on the brake, it didn't work.
Oh, you did. You said my brakes were. Nothing was wrong with my brakes.
You just tried to lie. And so what happened was, Mom called you because you had to drive it from when they towed it, and she was just like, "Well, are you pressing on the brakes now? Do they work?" Well, all right then. So your brakes work. So what he's saying ain't right.
I don't even remember those details, but
I remember it, baby. I remember the shade. You know, looking back on it, I just feel like it was important for me at the time because it was something new for me, being in the same-sex relationship, that I didn't know like how parents worked and like how situations were supposed to go. I'm glad that you actually brought up like the kids, because that was one point that I always wanted to ask you too, because Jarius would be like in the middle, and sometimes he would share things with me on like how you felt, because I would ask, because if anybody knows me now, I'm a little bit different, but I really used to care about like how people felt, that everybody was like okay, and that, you know, I was accepted by everyone. So I tried my best to do that. And so I know that you felt strongly about the kids not having his last name, because you are a single mom, and I know that he was like,
wanting her legacy to continue.
Yeah.
So do you feel differently now, or like, I guess in that moment, like what was going through your head?
I couldn't understand it at the beginning, but after some time went by, it was just a name, and it doesn't define who you are. You know, as long as the kids are raised right, then that's my main concern.
Obviously, and I'll link it up here, like we talked about like how difficult it was for me to change my last name, and I remember like breaking the news to you, and it was just like, are you like ashamed of who you are? You're like taking away like your identity. And I think it was so much more than that. And it sucks to even be in that position to where it's just like, you know, people look at it that way, like, oh, well, you dropped your last name. Like, does that make you the girl? Yeah, I don't know. It spins a lot of different ways. But I feel like, you know, it is good to know that like eventually you did come around to like not caring and just understanding that it really is a name, and it doesn't like mean that the kids are not your grandkids, and doesn't take away anything from you.
I thought it was, for some reason in my head, it was gonna take away my son, but no, you're still Jarius, I'm still mom, you know, so that was important to me.
So my last question would be, is there anything during I guess during that time back when we were in college, that you would have wanted to do differently for my relationship with you and Jarius' relationship with you?
Just making sure that it's us against the world. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure your mom is very proud of you, and I'm proud of you. What we raised is strong men and people that's going to go out in society and be of value to society. I'm proud of y'all.
Well, is there anything that you would want to share for parents that may be in your situation or kids that may be in a similar situation that Jarius was in? What would you tell them?
Calm down. Life is what it is. It's no point in overreacting the situation. It's no point in fighting the situation. You just give your child the best advice that you can possibly give them to not see them in harm, and making sure that they're loved. That's important.
Okay, well, that wraps up chapter 2. And we will move on to chapter 3, where we discuss just present day things and just some of the issues that are going on between us today that we want to address head on. So stay tuned for that. But again, thank you guys for being so open-minded and giving us just a fair shot to just be transparent and allowing us to sit here and be vulnerable with you guys. And we appreciate all the love. So until next time.
Bye.